Hi everyone, this is Nick Carn and this is my EDL 856 Module 16 case study. So the first part, problem identification and data analysis. What do we know? Mrs. Rose is a new assistant principal. Her new school has little to no parent involvement, such as missing a PTA or PTO. Her principal has tried to involve parents in the past, but he felt like he wasn't supportive enough or it was too unorganized to continue. Mrs. Rose reached out to her principal to establish more parent involvement several times, but was told no. After her persistent request, the principal stated he would consider forming a parental advisory group. Mrs. Rose and the principal scheduled a meeting for the parents, and only 8 showed up. The principal was not in favor of proceeding with the meeting at this point. So what do we need to know? Well, I would always like to know the socioeconomic status of every school just because it helps me know maybe what the parents are doing outside of school. Maybe they got longer work days, so maybe you have to have different kind of meeting times to allow for those parents to show up. So that would help to know that. What other ways did they communicate? Was it just the announcements, or did they also communicate that the case study didn't mention? Why is the principal so reluctant to involve parents? That's the biggest question I have, really. Because did something happen in the past? How many times did he really try? Was it 1 time, 2 times, and it just failed, and so he decided to give up? Or is it just that he's uncomfortable with the community itself? And then what is the involvement of the athletic department or fine arts department or clubs or anything like that, like after school activities? What are they doing to kind of assist in this? Because I know that when it comes to school, a lot of the kids are staying after to do these activities, and those activities can actually provide a lot of support with involving parents as well. So the plan of action with appropriate strategies for implementation. So steps to solve the problem: communicate with the stakeholders to figure out the issues regarding the lack of parental involvement. Stakeholders include the parents, the principal, teachers, other staff, and the students, of course. You can do this from face-to-face interactions such as meetings, or even send out climate surveys just to get a good idea of, hey, how involved do you feel? Why are you not involved if you're not? And what do you think the school could do a better job of really involving you in the decision-making processes? Convince the principal to proceed with the meeting with the 8 parents. Positive thinking could always help in my mind. So I think it's better to have 8 parents than none. So we can always ask those parents what we can do as administrators or teachers to get more parents involved. They might actually have some great ideas that could help with their involvement because they know other people, they know other parents, and they might have talked to those people, say, hey, are you going to the meeting? And they say no, so maybe we'll figure out why they said no or why they are uncomfortable showing up. After the parent advisor meeting, we can continue to reach out to those parents to come again to another meeting through the announcements, but I feel like they should use other outlets if they didn't, such as the internet. How well is the website constructed is one question you can ask and say, is that something we need to fix to where parents can access that easier? Do you have a Spanish version if you have a lot of Hispanic-speaking parents? And also appearances at community gatherings such as churches, community groups that have meetings, going out there and meeting these parents if you're new especially, and saying, I'm the principal at so-and-so school and I really want to involve more parents. I want you guys, if you do have kids, to come and be involved and really reach out to them and show that you care. And then finally, involve the athletic department to assist in reaching out to parents. I also could have put in there the fine arts department because, band, choir, marching band, and all the athletics and even the clubs that the kids are involved in, again, could really assist us with help reaching out to those parents, because coaches and band directors and choir teachers, they work with parents all the time, and so maybe they can help with some things to get parents there. So resolving the issue, and I think the biggest issue that needs to be resolved is the apathy of the principal, because he's the captain of the ship and we need to get him on board. So we can resolve this by taking over the role of parental involvement for a while and say, hey, you know what, I know you're uncomfortable with this. I know that you've tried it in the past and it's been unsuccessful, so why don't you let me take it over, and obviously I'll check with you all the time and I'll keep you in the loop. And then once we have established some success, then the principal can jump back in to that process and take it over even. We can also provide resources and incentives for parents who do show up, such as food and drinks. People want to feel like they're welcome. I don't know much better way to welcome people than to give them something to eat, give them something to drink, and make them feel comfortable and make them feel like they're part of this from the get-go. Also continue to reach out to parents and improve the school's image through a school website and social media. That's huge. Parents are on that these days. We're starting to get into that generation where most parents do have a social media, and so we need to make sure that we're providing information through that so we can easily reach them, and they'll, scrolling through their feed, they can see that, hey, there's a parental meeting today. I would love to go to that, but maybe I can't this time, so I can still get my information from there and still be involved in the future. Also, host more events at the school for the parents and students to come and interact with the staff, such as barbecues or carnivals. I know at my first middle school that I worked at, we would have a barbecue for every semester. And so we would have one at the beginning of the year, and then we'd have one at the end of the year. And it was always, we made sure it was nice out. We'd have people come to the school. We'd have a couple of us coaches or athletic directors or principals even cooking burgers, cooking hot dogs, serving them to people, getting them chips, drinks, and just like letting them just sit down and talk with the teachers and just have a conversation and maybe crack some jokes and have a good interaction and just make them feel more comfortable. And that takes time, but it also does establish those relationships, and the kids see that and see that their parents are enjoying the school as well. We also had carnivals for the kids, and that was always a big hit with them, and the parents loved it as well because it was fun for them. There were activities that the parents could do with their children, which was always good. So next, debrief the problem. So I was looking at some of these things, and I said, what was I thinking? Well, the whole time I was thinking or asking myself why the principal felt the way he did when it came to parental involvement. Something must have happened in the past, and I was just kept asking myself, what happened? Why does he feel this way? Why does he feel uncomfortable? And I know it did mention that there was some unsuccessful attempts at it. Really, how many attempts? And I didn't feel like there was much persistence there. What was I feeling? I actually was frustrated some of the time, but I actually also felt some familiarity with the situation. When I was at my first school again, our school had lost touch with the community. It was a low-income school, and a lot of people in the past had broken ties with the community because either teachers were there for a year and would leave, or they just decided it wasn't worth it. So it took us some time. It took us about 3 years, but we made some progress in our community. And most of the time, like I said, we did that through cookouts, athletic activities, and we'd also open up our school to parents in the community more often and say, you guys are welcome here. Obviously, there's some rules we have to follow, but we want you to feel like this is a part of your community, and it is a big part of your children's lives, so we need to make sure that you feel a part of that. What I valued is the persistence of Mrs. Rose to continue pressing for a parent meeting. Even though she was getting shot down left and right, she kept asking, and especially that's hard as a new principal in my view, because it's hard to bring it up all the time, and you might feel like you frustrate the principal. It depends on your relationship with them, but at the same time, she really values that, and she felt like she had to keep doing it. But I also think she did it very professionally. She didn't seem like she was too pushy. She just would bring it up at appropriate times, and she would try to convince him by saying, how important it was, and then eventually he would crack and let her have her meeting. The unresolved issues is that the principal is still apathetic to the parental involvement, obviously because he only saw 8 parents show up to the meeting and figured it's not even worth continuing. Parents are still not showing up to events in larger numbers. He would like to see more than 8 parents at the meetings, but again, 8 is a lot better than 0. But how do we reach out to those parents that didn't come, and how can we figure out ways to get them there? And then finally, will the staff and faculty become more involved in this process? I think it's pretty important that teachers, everybody in the staff is involved in these parental meetings as well, because it's important that the parents see the teachers before parent-teacher conferences. It's important that there's a line of communication there already established, and so when they do come and maybe they do have issues with their children in class, it's not the first time that they've seen that teacher or talked to that teacher, and they know that that teacher's not out to get their child. That teacher really cares about their child and wants to make their student the best student they can be. And if they are reaching out to you, they're reaching out to you because they're concerned about something that they think they could use your help on. So how does this all really contribute to academic success? I read this book, and it says, it takes a village to raise a child, and the most important component to that village is the parent. And involving parents can make a significant impact on a student's academic success, such as maybe working on homework at night together. But if the parents feel they're involved, then they will more likely support their children at home and at school. So it's really important that we establish that parental involvement, because parents really, if they don't feel like they are cared about by the school, then they're not going to take the time out of their day to come to the school and help us, or really even take the time at home. And really, I think, at least in our community, that I hear a lot is that students will go home and talk to the parents and be excited about the material, and the parents are excited to learn it as well. And so maybe that's a way that they can work together. When parents are involved at a school, the performance of all children at school, not just their own, tends to improve, because all the students are seeing parents involved. So they're seeing that more than just teachers and administrators care about the school. Because in a child's eye, maybe they think, well, the teachers have to be here, the principals have to be here, but parents don't have to be here. So the parents care, and they care about not just their child, but they care about me too, which is pretty cool. The more comprehensive and well-planned the partnership between school and home, the higher the student achievement. And the most accurate predictors of student achievement in school are not family income or social status, like I used to think, but the extent to which the family creates a home environment that encourages learning and communicates high yet reasonable expectations for the student achievement, and becomes involved in the child's education at school. And so you see that those are the sources that I grabbed those from, but I really think that those hammer down why it is important for parental involvement for academic success. In component 2, personal well-being, through frequent parent and school collaboration, students see the importance of working together towards a common goal, which is getting a good education. And students build a stronger relationship with their parents who are involved, because the gap between home and school is bridged, and now they have an opportunity to interact with their parents in a different setting besides just the home. And then finally, school events are better attended through parent and school communication. Students see how many people are attending their events, such as choir concerts, band concerts, any kind of club activity or athletic event, and this gives them a sense of pride that people do care about their performance and their hard work. And then finally, component 3, promotion of community involvement. Anytime you have parental involvement, I look at parents as community members, so anything that you do with parents is involving the community. But community members are invited to the school to participate in the educational process through parental involvement. And what I mean by that is that parents know community members. Parents have connections. And so if you reach out to those parents and get them involved, well, then they reach out to their buddy who maybe owns a business in town, and then they put you in contact together. And the more you can really establish those relationships throughout the community is always better for kids. And then parental support can create events in the school that allows community members to attend and support the school, such as trunk or treats. You know, we used to do that all the time. That was a parent idea, and the parent organized a trunk or treat in our community, and it was a huge success. And teachers were there, parents were there, kids were there, and it wasn't just kids at our school; it was kids throughout the whole community, and that was pretty cool to see. We had kids all the way from 2 to 3 years old, all the way up to 14 to 15. So it was pretty cool. Parental involvement can lead to projects for the school community to improve the grounds, so the actual look of the school, such as the Boy Scouts building new stairs to our athletic fields, which was all parent-led and parent-student-led. And the student was actually in my social studies class, and he was going for his Eagle Scout, and he really wanted to do something for the school. And so his dad, who was also an Eagle Scout back in the day, decided that they would do something to help build up stairs to our athletic fields. And at the time, we didn't have any stairs. It was just a dirt path. And so what they did is the Boy Scouts came out, they had funding, and they brought railroad ties and the railing and everything, and they made it really look nice, and it really improved the look of our school. And so that's just another thing that really helped with our community, at least from my personal experience. So that's my interpretation of the case study. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a great thing to be a part of this class. I learned a lot, and so thank you very much. And please leave any comments for any feedback, and I appreciate it. Thanks.